Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep, right down into the microscopic world of our cells. We're going to investigate a fundamental mystery that connects aging, metals, and diseases like Parkinson's.
So get this. What could tiny worms, rust, and brain health possibly have in common? It sounds random, right? But the answer connects all of them, and it might just hold a crucial clue to understanding why our bodies decline with age, and maybe, just maybe, how we can slow that process down.
All right, so our story begins with this concept called metal homeostasis. It's a fancy term, but it just means the incredibly careful balance of metals, like iron and zinc, inside every single one of our cells. And it is absolutely essential for life.
Think of it like a perfectly tuned engine. You need just the right amount of oil, the right amount of fuel. If those levels are even a little bit off, the engine starts to break down. Well, the same thing happens in our bodies. A disruption in this delicate metal balance, it's strongly linked to aging and a whole host of chronic diseases.
And listen, this isn't just a theory. Researchers have suspected for a long time that as we get older, our internal machinery for managing these metals just starts to falter, and that can lead to a whole cascade of serious problems.
So, that begs the question, right? How can scientists possibly investigate this complex mystery that's happening on a scale way too small to see? How do you peek inside a living system to watch this breakdown happen in real time?
Well, they turn to a very unlikely but brilliant detective, a microscopic worm called C. elegans. It might not look like much, but as you're about to see, this little guy is an absolute powerhouse for biological research. This really shows you why C. elegans is such a star. Its body is transparent, so scientists can literally see what's happening inside its cells while it's alive. And crucially, it has a super short lifespan, just a few weeks. That means researchers can observe an entire lifetime, from youth to old age, in under a month. It's like studying the whole aging process on fast forward.
Okay, so with our microscopic detective on the case, let's look at the first crucial piece of evidence that scientists from the Buck Institute for Research on Aging managed to gather.
Using some really advanced techniques, they were able to precisely measure the metal content inside these worms as they got older. So what you're looking at here are samples taken at different points in the worm's adult life, from day 1 all the way to day 11. And as you can see, the results were, they were pretty dramatic.
What they found was a direct, measurable link. It was unmistakable. While some elements went down, the levels of several key metals, especially iron, copper, and manganese, they just shot up as the worms got older. So the natural process of aging, at least in these worms, was clearly tied to a significant loss of this metal balance.
Now, among all those metals that were rising, one in particular stood out as a prime suspect: iron. It showed one of the highest levels of accumulation with age, which gave the researchers a very specific target to go after.
For the researchers, this was a massive red flag. They already knew from studies in humans that iron regulation is critical in the very same brain regions that are affected by Parkinson's disease. So they asked a pretty simple question. If aging causes iron to build up naturally, what happens if we deliberately increase iron in young worms? Can we basically create the problems of old age, but on purpose?
And the results were the smoking gun. This slide shows exactly what happened to the proteins inside the worms. On the left, you're looking at a technique that separates proteins. For the worms that were fed extra iron, that's the Fe lane, you see that dark smear? That's a massive traffic jam of proteins that have clumped together and become totally useless. The diagram on the right confirms it, showing that hundreds of proteins were affected only in the iron-fed worms. This is huge, because this exact kind of protein clumping is a key feature of age-related brain diseases like Parkinson's.
And here's the crucial point. This wasn't just random damage. The excess iron was causing total chaos in the cell's most fundamental systems. As this table shows, the proteins that were getting all gummed up were essential. It was like shutting down the cell's protein factories, its power plants, and even its waste disposal system. The entire cellular machine was just grinding to a halt.
Okay, so that's the bad news, but now we get to the most hopeful part of this story. If adding too much iron causes problems that look like accelerated aging, can removing that excess iron provide a solution? Can we actually turn back the clock on this damage? To test this very idea, scientists used a compound called KEDTA. It's what's known as a metal chelator. The easiest way to think of it is like a molecular sponge. It's specifically designed to just grab onto and soak up all those excess metal ions in the body. And the results were absolutely stunning. Look at this.
Giving this chelator to the worms did way more than just fix the problems. It made them healthier than normal. It not only reduced that harmful protein clumping, but it also prevented paralysis, it improved their movement, and get this, it even significantly extended their lifespan.
So, this brings us to the big picture, right? Why does this detective story, starring a 1 millimeter worm, matter so much to all of us? Well, the findings in C. elegans provide a powerful and really clear model for understanding the cellular chaos that metal imbalances can cause. What happens in this tiny worm, the protein aggregation, the breakdown of cellular systems, it's strikingly similar to what we see in human age-related neurodegenerative diseases.
So let's just recap the key takeaways here. First, we know that aging is directly linked to a buildup of metals in the body. Second, excess iron can kickstart the same kind of protein clumping we see in diseases like Parkinson's. And maybe most importantly, restoring that metal balance seems to be a powerful way to fight back against this damage and potentially slow down age-related decline.
It's a really provocative thought, isn't it? Now, this research doesn't offer a cure, but it gives us a new and incredibly exciting direction. It suggests that by focusing on something as fundamental as the metals in our cells, we might just unlock profound new strategies for promoting not just a longer life, but a healthier one.